2 Samuel chapter 3, we continue with our story where we see the house of David is at war with what's referred to as the house of Saul, if you will, the remnant of Saul's house that is trying to hold on to power in Israel, even though God has said that David would be the next king. The battle is playing out over a period of years. David is ruling and reigning in Judah, but there is another individual from the house of Saul that is in control in Israel. We pick up in chapter 3. The war between the house of Saul and the house of David lasted a long time. David grew stronger and stronger, while the house of Saul grew weaker and weaker. Sons were born to David in Hebron. His first was Amnon, the son of Ahinoam of Jezreel. His second, Chileab, the son of Abigail, the widow, and Nabal of Carmel. The third, Absalom, the son of Maacah, daughter of Talmai, king of Geshur. Absalom will be an important figure for us to learn later. Absalom will later overthrow his father and wickedly take the kingdom from his dad and will eventually find his demise in his own wickedness. The fourth, Adonijah, the son of Haggith. The fifth, Shephatiah, the son of Abital. And the sixth, Ithream, the son of David's wife Eglah. They were born to David in Hebron. Verse 6. During the war between the house of Saul and the house of David, Abner had been strengthening his own position in the house of Saul. Now Saul had a concubine named Rizpah, daughter of Ahai. And Ish-bosheth said to Abner, "Why did you sleep with my father's concubine?" Abner was very angry because of what Ish-bosheth had said. So he answered him, "Am I a dog's head on Judah's side? This very day I am loyal to the house of your father Saul and to his family and friends. I haven't handed you over to David, yet now you accuse me of an offense involving this woman. May God deal with Abner, be it ever so severely, if I do not do for David what the Lord promised him on oath, and transfer the kingdom from the house of Saul and establish David's throne over Israel and Judah from Dan to Beersheba." Apparently there was a tension that took place over an accusation of somebody having a relationship with a woman that was a concubine of Saul's house. Verse 11, it says, Ish-bosheth did not dare to say another word to Abner because he was afraid of him. So Ish-bosheth, who is the part of the house of Saul who is leading, is in power, if you will, but Abner, who is the commander of Saul's army, also seems to have an incredible amount of power, and there's tension between the two, and there is fear on the side of Ish-bosheth. We'll see how that begins to play out. Then Abner sent messengers on his behalf to say to David, "Whose land is it? Make an agreement with me, and I will help you bring all Israel over to you." "Good," said David. "I will make an agreement with you, but I demand one thing of you. Do not come into my presence unless you bring Michal, daughter of Saul, when you come to see me." Then David sent messengers to Ish-bosheth, son of Saul, demanding, "Give me my wife Michal, whom I am betrothed to myself, for the price of 100 Philistine foreskins." So Ish-bosheth gave orders and had her taken away from her husband, Paltiel, son of Laish. Her husband, however, went with her, weeping behind her all the way to Bahurim. Then Abner said to him, "Go back home." So he went back. For those of you that don't remember, Michal was the wife of David that Saul had given to him. It was his daughter, and he had to kill so many Philistines for his wife. When Saul tried to kill David, David had to go on the run. Saul took his daughter back and gave her to another man in the kingdom. Now David's basically saying, "I want my wife back." The guy that she was given to is concerned about this. I'm not going to lie to you. It's drama like a reality TV show. If you're struggling to keep up with what's going on, that's okay. I'm struggling to remember everything as I share it with you. But basically, long story short, we got David over here, Ish-bosheth over here. David is beginning to take over all of this. David wants his wife Michal back over here. Abner, who is the commander of the army over here, is mad at Ish-bosheth and is trying to organize some things so he can come back over. David is giving terms and conditions. It's all playing out in front of us. Hope you can keep up. It says that, verse 17, Abner confirmed with the elders of Israel and said, "For some time you have wanted to make David your king. Now do it. For the Lord promised David, by my servant David, I will rescue my people Israel from the hand of the Philistines and from the hand of all their enemies." Abner also spoke to the Benjamites in person. Then he went to Hebron to tell David everything that Israel and the whole tribe of Benjamin wanted to do. When Abner, who had 20 men with him, came to David at Hebron, David prepared a feast for him and his men. Then Abner said to David, "Let me go at once and assemble all Israel for my lord the king, so that they may make a covenant with you, and that you may rule over all that your heart desires." So David sent Abner away, and he went in peace. So Abner has come to David's side. Abner is basically bridging the hostility and the tension, but there's one problem. You see, Joab is still salty about what Abner did with Asahel in earlier chapters. And so some things are about to go down, and they're going to have some lasting implications even in the future when Solomon, David's son, becomes king. Verse 22. Just then David's men and Joab returned from a raid and brought with them a great deal of plunder, but Abner was no longer with David in Hebron because David had sent him away and he had gone in peace. When Joab and all the soldiers with him arrived, he was told that Abner, son of Ner, had come to the king and that the king had sent him away and that he had gone in peace. So Joab went to the king and said, "What have you done? Look, Abner came to you. Why did you let him go? Now he is gone. You know Abner, son of Ner. He came to deceive you and observe your movements and find out everything you were doing." Joab then left David and sent messengers after Abner, and they brought him back from the cistern at Serah. But David did not know it. This is something Joab, his commander, is doing behind his back. Verse 27. Now when Abner returned to Hebron, Joab took him aside into an inner chamber as if to speak with him privately, and there, to avenge the blood of his brother Asahel, Joab stabbed him in the stomach and he died. So this is not, they were in battle. This is not, they were at war and he killed him in battle. This was just straight up murder. He deceived him. He brought him inside a private room like they were having conversation and negotiation as friends, and he stabbed him right in the stomach, similar to how he killed his brother. Verse 28, later when David heard about this, he said, "I and my kingdom are forever innocent before the Lord concerning the blood of Abner, son of Ner. May his blood fall on the head of Joab and on his whole family. May Joab's family never be without someone who has a running sore or leprosy, or who leans on a crutch, or who falls by the sword, or who lacks food." Basically, he says that Joab's whole family is cursed because of what Joab's done. Joab and his brother Abishai murdered Abner because he had killed their brother Asahel in the battle at Gibeon. Interesting how the Bible says that Abishai was a part of it as well, that it wasn't just Joab, that it's something that the Bible credits them both for being a part of. Verse 31, then David said to Joab and all the people with him, "Tear your clothes and put on sackcloth and walk in mourning in front of Abner." King David himself walked behind the bier. They buried Abner in Hebron, and the king wept aloud at Abner's tomb. All the people wept also. The king sang this lament for Abner: "Should Abner have died as the lawless die? Your hands were not bound, your feet were not fettered. You fell as one falls before the wicked." And all the people wept over him again. Then they all came and urged David to eat something while it was still day, but David took an oath, saying, "May God deal with me, be it ever so severely, if I taste bread or anything else before the sun sets." All the people took note and were pleased. Indeed, everything the king did pleased them. So on that day, all the people there and all Israel knew that the king had no part in the murder of Abner, son of Ner. Then the king said to his men, "Do you not realize that a commander and a great man has fallen in Israel this day? And today, though I am anointed the king, I am weak, and these sons of Zeruiah are too strong for me. May the Lord repay the evildoer according to his evil deeds." A great commander is dead. The commander of the side of Israel is dead. Ish-bosheth is weak. His strength is dwindling. The house of David is growing stronger. David's keeping his hands clean before the Lord. He's not doing anything wicked. He wants it to be known that he's not dealing treacherously or in any type of evil way, that it was Joab who did this on his own account. And in chapter 4, we're going to dive into our next teaching. We're going to see that Ish-bosheth is about to die, and really things are about to come together, and David is about to unite Israel. We're going to begin to end this historical portion as David really takes rule of all that God has for him. Be blessed today.